Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful. I'd like to welcome you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May Allah's peace and blessings be upon you. To another in the series, In the Light of Islam. Dear viewers, we will seek to answer your questions that you've written in or called in. And we hope that the answers we're giving you are satisfactory. If you have further queries that you would like to expand on the questions that you've given, you may write again. Don't feel shy. We will continue to try to give you the best explanation that we can. And of course, as I've mentioned in previous programs, the questions may be from any source. It could be concerning Islamic law, etiquettes, or social practices, philosophy, anything which has to do with Islam, or you're seeking Islamic guidance with regards to it. The first question is a continuation from Sister Ameena, who had 4 questions in the last episode. We were unable to handle the first question. In the second, she asks, should a person distribute Qurban meat in the place he or she lives, or can he or she give it instead in their home country to his or her relatives and friends? Example, if one is working in Dubai, can it be given in Sri Lanka? It is permissible to give the meat sacrificed, meaning animal which has been sacrificed either for the Eid al-Adha, or it could be a sacrifice done in the case of Aqiqah, or any of the other sacrifices, voluntary ones which we may do at any time of the year. We may sacrifice an animal, for the sake of God, asking God to bless us for it, and then we give that meat to the poor, something recommended in Islam. Now, this should be distributed in the place where you are, first and foremost, because there are poor people here. In Dubai, though you may not, being, say, for example, from Sri Lanka, you may have a difficult time finding somebody here who is really poor and down and out to that point. However, there are people, there are organizations like Dr.Abu and other organizations that are familiar. They are charitable organizations in Sharjah. Dr.Abu is in Dubai. We have Charity International in Sharjah, where they are aware of the poor people who are in the various emirates, and they're in contact with them, and they are distributing for their needs on a regular basis. So it's better to do it here and benefit the people here. Why? Because you are able to make this sacrifice out of money you have earned here. This is where you earn the money. And that money should go back to the people of this area, first and foremost. If you're in Sri Lanka, that's where you're earning your money, then you give it to the people there. If there are no people, if you cannot find any needy here, then you go to people outside. Or there are some people in particular need. There has been some famine or some major catastrophe, calamity, etc. And there's a particular need in any given area. For you to step out of your area to go, well, okay, that is permissible based on that particular need. But under normal circumstances, if you're just making a slaughter and you have the choice between giving to the needy people in your area, whether it's in Sharjah or Dubai or whatever, or giving it to your home country, then you should give to the people of this area, because this, first and foremost, because this is where you have earned that money that gave you the ability to make the sacrifice here. The third question, is it permitted for women to have short hair? Can a woman cut her hair? First and foremost, it is permissible for a woman to cut her hair. However, that cutting should not be such that it makes her look like a man. Because a woman, for example, to keep very long hair, maybe she finds difficulty with it, washing and drying, and maybe her job situation is not really comfortable for her, whatever. She can cut her hair. It's permissible for her to trim it. But to cut it so it looks like a male, which has become popular in these times. Prior to these times, it was unthinkable. But in these times, where the fashion industry has fallen into the hands of homosexuals, that's what I'm saying quite plainly. Those who control the leaders of the fashion industry, who determine what type of fashions are popular, etc., these are mostly, not all, I won't say 100%, but mostly they're homosexuals. And being homosexuals, their deviation is expressed in their creations. Their way of life is such that a male will relate with another male, and a female with another female. This is what they believe in, which is something cursed by God. Prophet Lot's people, Sodom and Gomorrah, were destroyed because of this. This is where it began. This is a major evil. In Islam, the punishment for it, for people who are caught in the act, is death. So it is something prohibited, abhorrent in Islam. However, these individuals have gained control over the fashion industry, and what they do is promote their ideas in the dress and styles. So they have now women wearing men's clothes, wearing jackets and three-piece suits and shoes like men's shoes. I mean, there's slight variation because it's for women fitting her shape or whatever, but they're male dresses. Similarly, the men are now wearing women-type dresses, very loose and looking blousy, things looking like blouses with many colors, and dresses which were traditionally the dresses of women, wearing necklaces and earrings and nose rings and all these different things. Men are doing these things, growing their hair to the point where from behind you can't tell whether it's a man or a woman. All these kind of ponytails, all of these things are a part of an insidious plan by the homosexuals to blur the difference between the male and the female. So a man feels comfortable being with another man who looks like a woman. And naturally, this is going to encourage the desires that man may feel towards a woman, to direct it towards another man, which is homosexuality. So they are blurring these differences between men and women so that women will feel comfortable with other women who are looking like men, and men feeling comfortable with men looking like women. So this is the kind of environment which will breed and promote homosexuality. I mean, it's not to say just because a woman wears a suit that she now becomes a homosexual, but this is the environment. This is the grounds in which such evil fruit can grow. So we know in Islam this is prohibited. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, Allah curses, in Bukhari and Muslim, our authentic traditions of the Prophet. He said, Allah curses the woman who dresses like a man and the man who dresses like a woman. Men who seek to take on the look of women, women who seek to take on the look of men, are cursed by God. This is forbidden. So, if the woman cuts her hair, it should not be in a style which is looking like male styles. But she is permitted to cut her hair. We know in Hajj or Umrah that the woman, she's not allowed to shave her head. So those who seek to cut their hair, of course, as a woman, you should know it is not permissible for you to shave your head. They were not allowed to shave their head. Instead, they were told to gather the hair and to cut the amount of one joint of the finger from it. That is, if a woman is going to clip her hair on Hajj, she should not just, some people will just take a few hairs and then cut just that and finish. No, she must gather all of her hair and cut a portion from it. And if her hair is such that it can't all be gathered, then she should cut over the whole head. Same thing with the man. It is not a matter of taking a few hairs from the side of your head and cut, that's it. No, but the whole head should be trimmed. Either you shave the whole head or you trim the whole head. The fourth question, which is the third question of this segment from Sister Ameena in Dubai, is it essential to wear new clothes on the day of Eid for pilgrims who are performing Hajj? No, it is not essential. the person performing Hajj may continue to wear their ihram, but I should point out that the ihram which has been worn is not something which you have to keep on the whole time being the same ihram. Meaning, if your chosen garments, as a man, you've got the izar and rida, or a woman, you've chosen a particular dress that you're wearing, you're allowed to wash this dress. Or you're allowed to have another one that you can put on instead of it. You know, for a man to have the garments, those 2 towels or 2 sheet-like garments, you can have extra ones and you can change them. You don't have to wear the same one. Islam is about cleanliness. Tuhur shatr al-iman. That cleanliness, purity, is half of the faith. We know for our prayers to go and pray, we have to wash ourselves, we have to take full baths when we have sexual relations, etc., certain circumstances, coming off menses, we wash ourselves. Islam encourages purity and cleanliness. It is not encouraging us then to go on Hajj and we just stay dirty and no. So please don't be under that misunderstanding that is commonly among people, that the garment you wear, you can't take a bath. One, you can't take a bath. You cannot, or you have to keep it on all the time, the whole way through the Hajj. So for 5 days, you don't change your clothes. No. Islam does not ask you to do this at all. This is contrary to Islamic teachings and belief. You are permitted to bathe yourself. I know some people say, oh, you can't because when you're washing maybe some hairs, you don't wash your head. They said, okay. Or if you wash your head, it's dangerous because hairs may fall out and this is against, the ihram to remove hair from your body, etc. No. If hair falls off accidentally whilst you're bathing, this is not counted against you at all. The companions bathed, Prophet ﷺ, did not forbid it. In fact, they all were involved, washing garments, etc. This is something perfectly permissible in Islam. So if you wish to wear new clothes for the Eid, for the pilgrims, of course those who are performing the pilgrimages, they're not performing the Eid prayer per se. This is Eid prayers for those in the lands at home and wherever they are. The Eid prayer, they have their own series of rites that they're doing on that day. But if they're going to Tawaf al-Ifadah, for example, on the day of Eid, they are permitted to change, wear another set of clothes, or to wash those clothes and put on another set to go to perform the rites for the day of Eid al-Adha. We have a question here now from Abdullah Uthman, from Dubai also. Dear Dr. Phillips, Assalamu alaikum. I have been asked by some Christians at work, why does Allah create man for the fire of hell and some other men for paradise? They mean, why does Allah punish those that He has made to be evil and reward those that He has made for paradise, when neither can do anything about it? I cannot answer, especially as I've never really understood this point myself. Please explain. May Allah reward you, Abdullah Uthman. Dear Brother Uthman, it is true that Allah, before He created man, knew who among men would be going to paradise, who among men would be going to hell. This is the knowledge of Allah. He is Al-Alim. He alone knows all things, all that was, all that would be, everything. This was amply demonstrated in a statement of Prophet Muhammad, may God's peace and blessing upon him, in which he informed us from Allah, from knowledge which Allah gave him through the angel Gabriel, informed us that the first thing which Allah created was a writing instrument, a pen. Then He instructed the pen to write. And the pen asked Allah, what should it write? And Allah said, everything that was and would be. And this was the record. This record is of everything.